Hi, welcome back to the Benchmarkers Rugby Show. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Kumbi. I am a data scientist slash rugby superfan, and I'm joined by my co-host who will introduce himself next.
Hi guys, my name is Nyasha. I'm a data scientist, and for the purposes of this show, I am the analyst. I'm the stats guy. I bring you the stats, the AI analysis. I present the data, and supporting Kumbi's expert opinion, maybe going against it, considering
Right.
how often his predictions are wrong. Um, oh man,
Right.
yeah,
So you see, the idea behind these videos is that we've got the data, we've got the fan perspective, right? So we can kind of see what the not only do we cater to both types of fans, but we also kind of see the disparities between what the numbers say and what the fans say, right? So I probably give the more emotional predictions, which is why I'm wrong 10 out of 10 times. But yeah, it's all fun.
yeah, it's all fun. So we honestly, it's
Yeah.
what an opening round of games, right? Right.
Ooh, yes.
France is really delivering as far as hosting this and on the field, but I think this is one of
Right.
the best World Cups. I mean, generally World Cups are good, but this is the atmosphere just seems
Yeah.
the French crowd. Man, I wish I was there. This atmosphere just seems amazing.
100%. Right.
Yes.
Minus the anthems, but
Yeah.
everything else is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure they'll fix that.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think the idea for us, so what we wanted to do for today is we just wanted to talk about the top 3 or 4 teams that we think have the best chances of winning the World Cup. And so in order for us to do that, we've basically divided the teams we've into different categories, right? So the first category essentially is, or based on how the first week of rounds have gone, of games has gone. The first category essentially is your tier two countries, right? So your tier two countries, even though the quality has grown up from previous tier two performances, I think one of the most impressive things for me over the weekend was Chile, their first game. Wow, like just their ruck speed, I think their organization, and even like some massive performances from like some guys like the Escobar brothers. Very
Yeah.
impressive. But then I think the tier two countries are just missing like that like final pass, that final decision, for like Chile, Georgia and all these teams, they're just missing just a little bit of something, but they're just not there
Yeah.
yet, right? So that's the first category. The second category of teams, that we've grouped after the first weekend is the tier one countries, but the ones that are kind of struggling to manage games. All right, so that's mostly your Southern Hemisphere teams. Argentina, Fiji, New Zealand. Australia didn't have a bad game, but like they also kind of struggled based on last games. Scotland and also Wales as well, especially this
Yeah.
year. So with these teams, by game management, I think I just broadly just mean like your set piece, your scrum. So essentially being able to take over the game, just do the basics of the game that can also give you the ability to take over the game, right? So your kicking and your set piece as well, because once teams can do that, they put the team under pressure, and then the elements then start to come into play, right? So things like, so I know this weekend, for example, we had I wouldn't call it extreme weather, but the weather played a role. People made mistakes and so on. But also, and I know this is going to become a consistent theme throughout the tournament, discipline, right? So when it comes, so refs making decisions, when it comes, people are going to get sent off. How a team's going to respond, right? So can you,
Yeah.
if you're down to 14, down to 13, can you still maintain control of the game or take control of the game? That's going to be tested. And I think there's certain teams, so the teams that I've mentioned, like the Southern Hemisphere teams and so on, they're just struggling with those aspects of the game. And I think they're trying to swing the ball a little bit, they're trying to be exciting and all that stuff when they're missing these crucial aspects. So I think those are kind of like the ones that we've grouped, that second tier. And then you also have the rest of the tier one countries. So your top three teams, but also England, which might be controversial. But because I think from the last game, and also the fact that they are in an easier draw, I think they do have quite a bit of chance to go further in the tournament than, for example, New Zealand. So essentially, we're going to focus on those those 4 teams, right? So France, Ireland, South Africa, and England because we think after week one, so obviously things might change. After week one, we think that those are the teams with the best chances of winning the tournament or going far in the tournament. So that is what we're going to focus on, right? So Nyasha, so I guess
Yeah.
so you can give us the data for the first team that we're going to focus on.
Yeah, thanks.
Which is going to be England.
Yeah, so just starting off with England. We're just going to look at their set pieces. I mean,
Right.
against Argentina, 11 scrums. Against Argentina's 73% scrum success.
Right.
To Argentina's 50. Which I guess ultimately means they just won one of their scrums. Right. Lineouts, seven lineouts to Argentina's 15. But as far as lineout success, you had 100% lineout success for England and 73% for Argentina. So showing pretty much a clear dominance there by England. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
I think the most telling one there is kicking. I think when we talk about game management for England, I think one thing that they showed was good kicking. Just basically a good kicking game. They were solid for their scrums, their lineouts, their set piece was taken care of. And then you had a good kicking game, not only in open field, but also when it came like the 3 drop goals that they didn't even score a single try, right? I know people say that was boring, but I think it was very good game management. So that's a positive.
Yeah.
Given the side that they're on, I think they can be the best team on that side of the draw by far. So I think they've got a good chance of making the semis. So that is England, right? So now we're going to move into the top 3, right? So the more realistic, well, not realistic, but the teams with the best chances, really.
Yeah.
Of winning the whole thing.
And I mean, some people are saying the Springboks are the favorites now. That's yet to.
I mean, I'm inclined to agree with that. To be honest, I mean, I hate the Boks. I mean,
yeah.
But
okay,
yeah,
so now
I'm
just
inclined to agree.
getting into their stats. Starting off with their set pieces as well. Right, 3 scrum. 7 scrums. 7 scrums to Argentina's 12. Their scrum success 71% to Argentina's 58. So showing a clear dominance there. Then there were quite a few scrum penalties. Now for lineouts, South Africa with 12, Scotland with 17. But lineout success.
Right.
And this is pretty large, 92 to 76, and then
100%.
just also looking at the attacking. Now this one was interesting. South Africa covered a lot of meters. 610 to Scotland's 229. South Africa did concede more turnovers. Right, with 18 turnovers conceded,
right.
19 defenders beaten, 4 line breaks, 105 runs to Scotland's 89, and rucks won 66 rucks won to Scotland's 58. So showing a clear dominance there, at least specifically with rucks won, definitely with the meters covered. Although defenders beaten, Scotland dominating that part. But what does this mean for the game?
I think here this is also one of those things. We're going to see a consistent picture here. It's the same thing where if you don't have a good platform, you can't really exploit, right? So Scotland is exciting. Finn Russell, they've got exciting outside backs, but as long as you don't have a good platform, if you're losing your lineup by that much, you're not gonna go forward. I think the most telling thing. So you've gave all these stats. I think the one that's telling for me is the ultimate thing that we can then look at is kicking. I mean carry meters, 610. For South Africa off 105 runs. That's about just a little under 6 meters per run. And then for Scotland, you've got 229 out of from 89 runs, right? So that's probably more, what is that? Like just under 3. I think maybe 2.5-ish.
Are you trying to test my math?
I'm just trying to show
okay, fair enough.
Right. So so I think that shows that once you have that platform, you can now start to carry a little bit more effectively. No one has a platform like South Africa, especially for 80 minutes. So I guess that's what we're seeing there. So I think it's just the exact same picture from before.
Yeah.
So that is 2 out of the 4, right? And then we also have Ireland, right? So we covered England, South Africa, but Ireland, we're not really going to look at those stats because I think they had a very dominating performance against Romania. I don't think we can take too much out of that game. Obviously, we do respect Romania as well, but I think that was just too dominant. I don't think it's a fair reflection on Ireland itself. But we do know that Ireland is a good game management team, right? So they've got a good platform as well, good line out. With options and their loose forwards as well. They've got, especially when Sexton is at 10, who can also play kicking and running games. And then also in their backline as well, they've got guys who can also carry well and also kick the ball as well. So, I think Ireland is covered. We'll see how they perform, but I think, it's pretty safe to say that their game management is probably solid. So the last team we're going to look at is going to be France.
Right. And for that, obviously, we're looking at a game against New Zealand. Right. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch on every stat, but, just starting off with, something that things that stand out, starting off with the territory. 44% territory in the first half, 78% in the second half, for France. And obviously, if you watch the game, it was pretty obvious. New Zealand could barely get out of their own half. And then, and then getting into their set pieces, with 80% scrum success for France to 71% for New Zealand. And the line out success, 93% for France, to 91% for New Zealand. But just looking at those numbers, those are fairly similar, but still, France edging them out there. Now, and then, of course, if we look at the attack, defenders beaten 16, and New Zealand had double, right? And I mean, I guess that was reflective in the game. New Zealand covered did cover more meters. I think a lot of that is reflective of their performance in the first half. I don't think in the second half they really had more meters covered. With their line breaks, eight line breaks. 55 rucks won to 75 rucks won for New Zealand, which is quite a lot. But their kicks from hand, 44 kicks from hand for France and 39 for New Zealand. So this is the picture that the stats painted. Mr. Expert, what's the thoughts?
I think I mean, looking at these, you'd think that New Zealand won the game, especially with the line breaks and all these things, right? But then we know that that's not how it played. They couldn't even get out their half despite winning the meters and rucks won and all these things. Line breaks. Yeah. Well, no, they didn't win the line breaks. But once again, you can't play an exciting game without a good platform. If you're losing the kicking game, if you're not disciplined, and I think the discipline comes from not being able to manage a game properly. If you're not winning your scrums, I know De Groot started off under pressure from Antonio. If you don't have a good platform, you're going to be under pressure. France did really well kicking, right? So I think Antoine Dupont, even though his running game wasn't, he didn't really have a great game running because they were on him. He did have a great kicking game, right? So I think because they won the kicking game, that's how they took over the game, right? And I think, so once again, so if you look, there's a consistent theme here, right? So even when you see teams will have all these exciting stats most of the time, but if you're not winning lineouts, if you're not winning, so New Zealand might have more defenders beaten, twice as many defenders beaten actually. They've got, their rucks won and all these, they've got quick ball, but doesn't matter if you have quick ball if you're not going anywhere, right? So if you need to set that platform first. So so I guess this is a consistent picture. I think this is the biggest takeaway for me from the first weekend, is in that the teams with the best game management, and I think it's going to affect different aspects of the match, from discipline to ball handling and all these things. I think you'll see that the teams with the best game management are the ones that are going to win, be more successful in the World Cup. And right now it's looking more like France, Ireland, South Africa, and maybe to a lesser degree even England as well. But we'll see, especially when Owen Farrell comes back, we'll see how that plays out.
Definitely. And I mean, I guess whether it is the temperature or ultimately I think a second half analysis for quite a few of these games will be very valuable as well, because just looking at this game, New Zealand really lost it in the second half. Granted, they weren't taking their chances, they weren't as effective. Right, but I'm sure that translates to quite a few of these games. So if the Heat's playing in a factor, obviously the South Africans are used to playing in the heat. I actually don't know the temperatures there, but just looking at the
Apparently, it was like 31, maybe early
degrees
30s.
Celsius.
So it's quite hot.
Okay. Yeah. Then, that definitely.
Yeah, it's hot.
That is hot. But yeah. So from my side, these are the stats. This is the analysis. Let us know if you agree or disagree in the comments, or any stats that you'd be interested in looking at. We're constantly updating this. I'm trying to keep up with the trends.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
100%.
this the stats. I know anything from you can be.
No, I think that's everything. I think we'll see how the rest of the polls play out, and obviously the playoffs. Obviously, the picture will change consistently. So yeah, but obviously we'll be here to talk about it. We'll be happy to talk about the data and the rugby combined. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Just if you could just drop us a like, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel, would greatly appreciate that.
Yep.
But apart from that, for me. We'll see you in the next. We'll see you in the next video.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Cheers, guys.
AdStat experience.
The analysis you've seen is powered by AdStat Marketplace, the best marketplace to get your digital memorabilia directly from teams, athletes, and brands. If you're a sports fan or an athlete, visit adstatmarketplace.io and start creating and sharing memories. Link in the description.